everyone. I apologize that I am doing this video from my car. My video camera at home decided it doesn't want to be very reliable right about now, so I just figured I'd give you something from the car. First of all, where the hell have I even been, right? Well, those of you following me on social media, Twitter and Facebook, know that in January 11th, 2017, the entire basement of my house flooded, which included my studio. And so literally everything got stripped out, pulled apart, rebuilt, and that left me without a creative space for about 8 months. It wasn't until July that you guys saw me post a picture showing that I was even ready to start working again. And obviously during this process, while we were rebuilding everything, I was also gearing up for a live show here in the Twin Cities for this thing called Goth Prom, which was amazing. I was basically the headlining act of this really cool event. This is the first time ever playing out with my new live drummer, my new live guitarist here in the Twin Cities. This was going on at the same time that the basement had flooded. So here I was, all set to go to work on getting ready for these live shows, and then suddenly I lost my creative space. In fact, I ended up having a meeting with my bandmates in my living room. What little creative energy I could spare during this whole ordeal was going into that, and once that happened, we were at a point where we could finish rebuilding the house.
Life finds a way.
So then what happened after that? So the basement got rebuilt, and from that point, I started diverting my energies into a promise I made to myself. Some of you might remember that I'm a really, really big fan of the television show Knight Rider. It was one of the many things that actually sparked my interests in sort of the whole 80s throwback thing. Back in 2014, I had an opportunity to actually buy a car like, not the same, not a replica, but like the car from Knight Rider, an 82 Trans Am. It's something I've dreamed of since I was a kid. And I went ahead and pulled the trigger and spent a whole bunch of time getting it running right because it had been neglected. The year after I bought it, before the motor that was in it overheated, blew a head gasket, the transmission was failing. Even well before any of the nonsense with the basement happened, I sort of promised myself that this would be the year that I would get that car back up and running. It's just been sitting in my garage, up on dollies, you know, for the better part of 2 summers, you know, just waiting to be rebuilt, just waiting to have new life breathed into it. I immediately jumped on to this whole thing with the car. You know, I went on Craigslist and bought an engine that I then rebuilt. I'd never rebuilt an engine before. I started recording myself doing some of these things because I had this sort of like grand vision that I was going to, you know, become like a car blogger or something. And, you know, I was just going to document the whole project, but, you know, with my video camera sort of taking a dump, that just really wasn't going to happen. So now we're coming up to a point where that's going to be coming up to a close. You know, I've got a new engine that's been rebuilt. I've got a transmission that is going to get rebuilt in the next couple days. So that leaves some very obvious questions. It's been a while since I've really been active on YouTube, and, you know, for reasons that I hope now are clear to all of you who are still here. So that kind of leaves the question, what do I do with my channel? Where should I go with it? What do you guys want to see? You know, I'm posting this video when I am because, you know, I want to start live streaming again. I've got a lot of projects that are coming up that I want to share with you guys. I've got a lot of stuff that I'm working on that I don't want to keep the cards so close to my chest, as it were. I feel like it'd be really strange if I just started live streaming or just started posting stuff again without giving you guys an opportunity to be sort of caught up with my life about what's going on. I've got some cool stuff that I'm working on. I'd like to try and get an EP out before the end of the year, you know, as well as the sequel to Sentinel, which is still forthcoming. There are tracks being written for it as you watch this, with collaborators that are yet to be announced or determined, people that want to be a part of it, that have donated their time as a response to the many, you you know, the personal crisis that I went through with this whole reconstruction project, you know, as a means of helping me recuperate the several thousands of dollars of extra debt I took on to take care of all this. But yeah, I want to put it to you guys, you know, what kind of content do you want to see? You know, my music obviously lives on SoundCloud, and obviously music will continue to appear on YouTube, but what other kind of stuff do you want? You know, live streams have been a thing that people have enjoyed in the past. Do you want, you know, maybe we could do an AMA, you can ask me questions. I'd love to take you on a tour of my new space that I've built. You know, I'm toying with the idea of maybe getting a Patreon fired up, so some of you guys who want to be more involved and more supportive can get some extra bonuses, can, you know, hang out with me and talk with me, and, you know, jump in on live streams and get access to, you know, stems, or get access to acapellas. You know, some of you have expressed interest in that. Or something else I'm also planning on doing is I'm actually planning on doing how-to videos. I'd like to create a video series that sort of brings you in to my creative process, that shows you sort of the building blocks of what it takes to create a track. You know, and I can cover any subject you'd like. You know, I sort of have a preliminary lesson plan laid out as far as the curriculum goes, as far as things that I can show you how to do, things that I think are important to know how to do. But obviously I'm open to suggestion, things you'd like to see. Specifically, and maybe later, if we get into this whole Patreon track and we come on down the line, people who choose to participate in that will get sort of first say on the topics that get covered and the kind of things that we talk about and discuss. Any ideas you have, any questions, I will make another video responding to the questions that I can respond to. Maybe we'll say like 2 weeks, something like that. We'll come back. I'll read through your comments, for better or for worse. You know who you are. And so maybe, you know, next week, see if I can get my video camera to cooperate and do a quick little run through the studio, see if I can get a live stream cooking. I've got some commission projects that I'm allowed to stream that I'd like to show you guys. Really cool, exciting, and different stuff. With that said, that should get you pretty much caught up to speed on where we're at and what's coming down the line. Until next time, I'll see you guys on Twitter. As always, my inbox is open.